Welcome back to Rad JBI. I'm JB. In this video, we have finished up another set of 2024 Kawasaki KX450 Showa suspension. The past couple months, we've been quite busy doing a lot of this Kawasaki suspension, and rightfully so. The feedback from our riders and testers has been very positive, and the feedback from the customers as well has been very positive. We put a lot of effort in the past couple months with our testing and tuning on this new 2024 Kawasaki KX450 platform, and we're really pleased with the results that we're getting. So to the left of me here is another set of that suspension, and I'll go over it with you, all the modifications that we did. At radjbi.com, that'll also feature all the services that we did to the suspension, also all the products as well. The services will tell you, again, the mods that we did, and then within the product description of that webpage, we'll also break out each individual piece as well, and that'll have its own product webpage. Reason being is we like to be very detailed and transparent about all the suspensions tuning that we do here at Rad JBI. That way you can read everything about what we do, why we do it, and most importantly, what you should expect as a rider when you get your suspension back from us. So to get right into it, the rear shock received our JBI Spec shock revalve. What that includes is our JBI titanium compression piston assembly. That fits into this region in the shock and it interacts with your compression clicker assembly right here. That replaces the stock compression piston that I have here in my hands. Again, we'll have very detailed images of all this information on Rad JBI, so you can't see it very up close in the video. Just check out the links below in the video description and you can geek out all on it. Also part of that is you always do our JBI bladder caps. Reason being is the stock bladder cap doesn't have a Schrader valve on it, and we have to pierce this rubber plug on the back with a hypodermic needle in order to fill the shock with gas and also to release it of gas when it comes time to service it. What I want to point out is the rubber is supposed to be self-sealing that we have here on the back. It doesn't always do that. So sometimes the gas inside of here escapes and the nitrogen charge is no longer in the shock, and the shock performs very poorly. So we much rather rely on a bladder cap that has a Schrader valve fill on it. Much easier to charge the shocks with nitrogen, much easier to check the shock to see how much nitrogen is in it, and also much more reliable in containing and encapsulating that gas. The main piston inside the shock absorber was also revalved to our JBI Spec, and this was for our motocross settings. And then of course we top it off with our JBI black bumper. Let's see if I can pop that up. Here at Rad JBI, we came out with some new bumpers, and what they are is pretty much the same PUR foam material that the stock one is, but we have a small additive of NBR rubber. That's what turns it that black color, and it also seals the bumper, so it prevents it from absorbing moisture as quickly, and it also gives it a little bit better UV sun protection in comparison to the pure PUR foam. So it doesn't get yellow, discolor, or get hard over time. Instead, these stay nice and cushy like a bumper should. And what's cool, they're cheaper than the stock one, so it's a win-win all the way around. We also sell this JBI Spec revalve as a JBI DIY kit. So everything you see here, we will provide you in a nice package with all the shims and everything, so that way you don't have to send your shock to us. You can revalve it yourself, have somebody local do that for you. You'll get the same exact custom settings and hardware that you would get as if you sent your suspension to us. It's just another way to help reach everybody around the world with our JBI Spec suspension. The forks were revalved to a matching JBI suspension Motocross Spec. Now these are the 2024 model forks. We have a video also on our channel that compares the stock 24 forks to the stock 2019 to 23 forks. That's worth checking out so you can see what updates and changes happened from last generation to the current generation. A lot of the modifications we were previously doing continue to apply to this new Showa 49mm twin chamber fork. One of those is we install our JBI subvalve inside of here. That replaces the compression piston post. That interacts with our compression clicker here at the top of the fork. The subvalve gives the fork good low-speed damping resistance, so think control. It makes the fork difficult for it to be overly soft or divey, and it's always giving that proper amount of holdup that you want. Also, the way our subvalve is designed is it makes the fork have a very comfortable feel, and that's because of the way we designed it compared to the previous generation subvalve that used to be in these forks, and also the subvalve you would find in the kit version of these Showa forks. Along with that valving as well, we also update the mid valve. We change out the piston post to another style that allows us to update this to what's called the leaf spring style mid valve. The leaf spring style mid valve is used in all KYB forks since about 2018, and it's used in a lot of kit forks as well. What's neat about that is since we have this sub valve giving us a very comfortable plush ride, the leaf spring style mid valve ensures that we have very good hold up at all times. That is our high speed damping unit of the fork. We have found with some well thought out settings on the leaf spring style mid valve, we can get a fork that has a very smooth feel all the way through the travel, but also has very good hold up, meaning it rides high in the stroke. So that way, as you're riding quickly down the track and you're about to encounter some bumps, you have all the travel of your suspension when you first enter into the bumps. Help provide the bike from riding too low or being too overly soft. We also have our JBI volume spacers inside of here as well. That helps us control and modify how progressive the forks get as they compress. It's another way for us to modify the air volume inside of the fork without having to add oil. Again, all these parts I'm talking about, you can find at ridejbi.com. They have individual product pages for each part, and there's also product pages regarding this Revalve service and a DIY kit of the same exact thing we're talking about here. The feedback's been really positive, and I'm really glad to hear that from everybody. The new Kawasaki is an awesome bike, and it's only been out for about a year. So to have settings performing this well, this early on in development, just really makes me happy. It really goes to show the amount of effort we're putting in. And if this is the starting point we have now, God, in a couple years from now, these new Kawasaki's are going to be disgusting with how good they work, because we already got them working quite well. But with time comes just more time to learn and test and tune. So thank you guys for checking out this video. We'd be happy to do some suspension for you. So if you're interested, please give us a call or send us an email. We can talk about the year, make, model bike that you have, which options are available, and based on that information, which setup would be most advantageous for you. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.